Okay, we got this going. Have it the way I want it. Yo, Mark, what's up? Just finishing off one or two things here. Highest pay per view on foreign soil from a home fighters network. Ped says nice. Hope you're all enjoying the stream. So, yeah, first thing I want to talk about in this is the numbers for the Anthony Joshua, Andy Ruiz rematch. So I'm on, if this website will let me, the Daily Mail website. And it says Anthony Joshua's rematch with Andy Ruiz broke pay-per-view buy records on Sky as more than 1.6 million purchased the fights. And actually, I want to say, Mark, in the end, I did end up purchasing the fight. I bought it literally as the main event started. So I was one of those. I bought that fight. So where do we have it here? It says Anthony Joshua's victory over Andy Ruiz broke the UK pay-per-view on Sky record. 1.6 million buys. Crazy. The highly anticipated bout on Saturday saw Joshua overcome Ruiz in a point decision as he won back the heavyweight belts he lost to the Mexican-American back in June of this year. It's showing some footage of Anthony Joshua doing what he did. I thought it was a good display, good performance. I think the Klitschko fight did something like, how many did it do? Did over 1 million, didn't it? So for him now for fighting Andy Ruiz and getting 1.6 million, it shows that AJ's drawing power is still there. Even in defeat, he still has the drawing power. He can still bring these big performances in when it comes to crowds and all that. And but yes, he can bring the big performances in. He can bring the big crowds in for pay-per-views. Do I think he's going to be going back to the Principality Stadium or Wembley? Unless he's got a Fury or a Wilder. Maybe even, I was going to say maybe an Usyk, but maybe not Usyk. I think maybe his next fight, I think it'll be against Pulev. Personally, I reckon he'll fight Pulev next. I think that'll probably be at the O2. I reckon. Now, I could be wrong. They could try and do it in a stadium. They might try and do it in maybe a smaller stadium. I'm just trying to think because I'm not really up on some of the stadiums in the UK that are around London and stuff like that. They might not do it in one as big as the Principality or one as big as Wembley, but they might go for one a little bit smaller. But crazy pay-per-view buys for Anthony Joshua to do. 1.6 million pay-per-view buys. And I think that maybe one of the reasons why it done well, and maybe this is me just assuming, it might not be the reason, but the fact that it was on earlier in the day than we're used to. Because I was texting my friend on Saturday night, and me and him were both in watching this fight. We're both like, what the hell? This card is damn near over, and we're only at about 8:30. And we're like, this card's nearly over. By the time it was over, it was only like 10, give or take. So me and my mate were like, geez, this is actually nice. This is actually handy that we're not like at the last minute being like, fuck, it's nearly 12 o'clock now. We're tired after all that. We're like, oh no, we've got plenty of things to do. Like, I went on and done a live stream straight after the fight because I was like, well, I gotta do something. I gotta wait for this. Joshua Klitschko did 1.5. Yeah, that was a hell of a fight. I paid for that. That was worth every penny. That was one of those fights where it's hard to describe. Like, I don't normally get buzzed for obviously I get excited for fights, but I don't normally feel as intense about a fight as I did that. Like, I just couldn't wait for that fight to start. I'll never forget that fight. So I reckon Pulev likely. I reckon Pulev's the likely next opponent for Anthony Joshua. And, I think that it's logical. I think it's a winnable. Well, I think it's more or less a guaranteed win, because I think Pulev now is coming towards the end of his career. He's going to be 39 next year. It seems like that Derek Chisora win was such a long time ago, back in 2016. That was a good win, to be fair. But he fought Klitschko in 2014, end of 2014. We all saw what happened in that fight. And let's look at this resume here on BoxRec. So he lost to Klitschko, out of the ring for nearly a year, beat George Arias. That's not the George Arias, the 5'10" prospect. That's a 56-13 George Arias. He beat Maurice Harris, who is ancient, who was fighting in the 90s, and he wasn't that good then. Got knocked out by Derek Jefferson. That's a pretty well-known knockout. You'll see the HBO broadcast of that, knocked out by Derek Jefferson with a left hook. Then he beat Chisora. That was a decent win. Fought Sam Peter, an ancient Sam Peter who got knocked out in the first round this weekend. Maybe Kevin Johnson. Again, it's not getting much better. To be fair, though, he got a win over Hughie Fury. I know Hughie Fury, he is what he is. He's a mover. He doesn't really do much. But Kubrat Pulev won that fight pretty comfortably. Won that in Bulgaria. Then he fought Bogdan Dinu. Has Bogdan Dinu even fought since those two fights? No, he lost to Miller and then he lost to Pulev. It was tight enough, that fight. Two judges had it even going into the 7th round when he got stopped. And then he fought this guy, Randall Booker, a 26-3 heavyweight. Well, he's 26-3 now. And again, 10-round points decision. So I think AJ is going to probably fight Pulev next. I don't think he'll have any trouble whatsoever in that fight. And I think that actually Pulev will be a fighter where AJ, he'll probably try and sit down more on the shots in that fight. I think that he won't try and box with Pulev like he did Ruiz. I think that he'll feel a lot more confident about just about everything given that performance. I think that you'd need a serious puncher, someone who he knows is going to be a serious puncher, like a Wilder, and then we'll see a more cautious AJ. Well, everyone's cautious with Wilder, to be fair. Maybe that's a poor example. But someone like a Pulev, whose best punch is his jab, I think we'll see AJ maybe try and, stay in the pocket a bit more and really try and sit down on those uppercuts and hooks in that fight, if it happens next. I think Eddie Hearn has actually, here's what Eddie Hearn says here. Eddie Hearn has stated that he believes Kubrat Pulev could face Anthony Joshua's first mandatory, but needs to speak with the IBF and WBO to confirm. This may lead to Chisora versus Usyk in March and AJ versus Pulev in April. Providing they win, it'll be AJ versus Usyk later this year. AJ versus Usyk. AJ versus Usyk. Oh, man. I know a lot of people weren't, mad impressed with Usyk in... Who was it? He fought Witherspoon. When he fought Witherspoon, I didn't think it was that bad. I thought he did what he had to do. He did what he needed to do. I didn't think it was that bad a performance, to be fair. And him against AJ, I'd love to see that. I would love to see that. So, yeah, those are kind of some of the main things that we're talking about here. I was going to do a video on it, but I just decided I normally try and live stream on a Monday, but I was mad busy yesterday. I recorded a couple of videos. And by the time I got done, it was like, it was like after 10. So I said, to hell with it. I'm not going to stream. I'll stream tonight. And I just want to get a quick one in out of the way anyway, because I'm not long in myself. I'm not long in from training. So I just want to get a quick live stream in. So question for the people who are in the chat, for the 6 people in the chat. What did you think of the fights this weekend? What did you think? More so, what did you think of Charlo Hogan and Eubank Jr. Korobov? Yeah, we all know Korobov injured his shoulder. I expected Eubank Jr. to win that fight, but I didn't expect him to win it like that. And Hogan versus Charlo, that was always going to, Charlo was always going to knock Hogan out. Hogan started off decent, but Charlo caught up with him. And then, that was that from that point on. So let's have a look, see here. What else do we have in the news? So those are kind of the weekend fights, kind of in a nutshell. This week, we have Ultimate Boxer, the heavyweight edition. Really looking forward to that. Really looking forward. Povetkin needs to retire. I'm a fan, and it's only going to get worse for him. Yeah. When I watched that fight with Hunter live, I watched it on the Zone commentary, and I think I was a bit swayed. I try not to let commentary sway me when I'm scoring a fight, but I think I was a bit swayed by the Zone commentary, and I ended up giving rounds to Povetkin that when I watched it back, they were Hunter rounds. So when I watched it in the cold light of day, and I made the mistake of watching it with the Sky commentary the second time, so then I watched it one last time with no commentary, And yeah, I think Hunter won that fight. Watched it the second time around. So that's the thing about commentary. If you let it, if you let it get to you, and you let what they're saying kind of make you think, that's when you start scoring fights differently. Because a good example would be when I watched Fury Klitschko. When I watched it live, I watched it with the Sky commentary. And the Sky commentary, I think they had it. I think they only had Fury with him by like 2 points in that fight. So, I was kind of scoring it as I was doing that as well. And I think I only had Fury winning by something like 2 or 3 points myself. But then when you go and actually watch it back, and you're not in that live frame of mind, you're watching it, you know what's happened, you decide, right, I'm going to score this as it is. You realize that Fury won that fight pretty handily, but the commentary can influence you. It's like that with most fights, when the commentary are telling you one thing, you start doubting yourself and you start thinking, oh, maybe I'm scoring this wrong, maybe I'm not doing it right. But at the end of the day, I think it's like The Wire said, the opinion you follow should be your own. So when I watched the fight back in the cold light of day, I said, no, Hunter won this fight. Yeah, they did. I think they had it like 116, 114 or something like that. There was a lot of even rounds. That's one thing I don't like about Sky. They give a lot of even rounds. And that was Glenn McCrory was commentating on that fight. And yeah, Sky give a lot of even rounds. I don't like that. Like, fair enough, if a round is razor close, maybe give it even. But sometimes in Sky, they just give them for the sake of it, because I often think that it's because, especially with people like Carl Froch, and I don't want to rant about the Sky commentary. I've done that enough this week. But when I see someone like Carl Froch or someone like that, who you can tell they don't know that much about boxing, they're not very good at breaking a fight down, you get the impression that rather than, explain why they're giving around to this guy, why they're giving around to that guy, like Harold Letterman used to do, it's easy just to be like, couldn't split them, scored even, rather than, looking for like the nit grit and the fine little details and how to score a fight. I find with some of the Sky team, it's just easier for them to be just like, oh yeah, close round even. There you go. Job done. I've done my part. Gay Fury, the 12th round. Yeah, he definitely lost the 12th round in that fight. I think one judge in that fight gave Fury the 12th round. But I think that was one of that round and the 8th round in the Fury Klitschko fight were the 2 rounds he definitely lost. No doubt about it. Yeah, it's kind of hard to pick other rounds he lost after that. Like, I'm sure that if you really went and watched the nit and gritty, you'd find another round or two to give Klitschko. I think I gave Klitschko 3 rounds in that fight, and obviously the 8th and the 12th being 2 of them. And I think it might have been like the 4th round or something like that I gave to Klitschko, one of those rounds. But yeah, he didn't have a lot of success in that fight. Not a lot of success at all. Who was it as well? Because we had a mandatory announced. Well, not announced, but we had a mandatory for Inoue announced there today, or was it yesterday? Let's see. I think it might have been. Oh, there it is. So Naoya Inoue has been ordered to face his IBF mandatory Michael or Mikel, whichever way you want to pronounce it. Dasmarnis. Right. Let's have a look. See. Let's have a look. See at this guy. Let's have a look and see what we have here with this Michael Dasmarnis guy. Because I like watching Naoya Inoue. I reckon he'll be out. They reckon he'll be out kind of March/April. So let's see. Let's see who Naoya Inoue may be facing next. Michael Hot and Spicy Dasmarnis, 27-year-old Filipino. And he is 30-2-1. Okay, let's have a look at the resume. So he lost a split decision. I'm not going to try and pronounce that name. That was back in 2014. I think that might have been his last loss. Or have I missed one? So he lost a split decision. I must have missed a loss somewhere because oh yeah, he only did lose 2. He had a draw actually. He had a draw against a guy called Mano Plaggy in Singapore. Close fight. Split decision draw. Close fight. Any names on this resume that I recognize? Let's have a look. Not really. Not really. So this may be the guy who, Naoya, what's up, bro? I hope you enjoy the chat. Leave a comment. Ask me. By the way, in these live streams, we don't only have to talk about boxing. Ask me anything you want. I'm open to any questions you got. I've been asked some pretty strange questions in some of these other live streams. So whatever you want to ask, doesn't have to be about boxing. Ask me anything. I'm open to anything. So yeah, that's the kind of guy that they're chucking on in a way for his mandatory. The draw is against the only man with a winning record. I wasn't even looking at the winning records, to be honest with you. No, he's beat guys with winning records. They're not amazing winning records. Draw with a 17-0. Actually, 17-0. Man, the guy who was 17-0, he's listed as 31 from Ghana. My man don't look 31. As with most of these fighters from Ghana, they don't. My man don't look 31. He's got his picture on BoxRec. This Jesse Mano Plaggy, 31 years old from Ghana. My man don't look 31. Not a hope. I reckon closer to 40. Definitely. Definitely closer to 40. My man don't look 21 years old. Do you remember that Richard Latte guy who fought Dubois? He was listed at 27. Unreal. 27 years old. Like, if they'd said 29, 30, you wouldn't believe it. But you'd be like, okay, well, maybe. You never know. But yeah, 27 years old, looking like that. Hell no. Man, no, he wasn't 27. Give me a break. Richard Latte. 27 years old, huh? That's crazy to think that they actually thought they could get away with that. I wonder what they do when they make up these, like, fake date of births. Like, what are they actually thinking? Like, maybe, I don't know, like, if I was to just lie about my age or something like that, I just maybe take a year or two off. I wouldn't take, God knows, maybe 10 years. Non-boxing related story, okay? I actually worked with a girl who took years off her age. And I'll tell you this story, okay? When I was 18, all right, back in 2012, I was 18 years old. I worked in a pharmacy. All right. Now, it wasn't like actual pharmacists or anything like that. It was just regular staff in a pharmacy. And they had a cosmetic stand. And when I started, there was a girl there, and she started kind of the same time as me. And she was, I think, 19 years old. I was 18. Okay. And I spent two years, give or take, in that job, right? So when I went in there, I was 18. When I finished, I was 20, nearly 21. All right. This girl was still 19. All right. And no one questioned it. Like, people were like, oh, happy 19th birthday. I'm like, I've been here 2 years. I've aged 2 years, and I'm leaving here older than you. So yeah, I've had a lot of different jobs. Mate, oh, stop. I don't think I've had that many. Like, my first ever job was in a pharmacy. That was my first ever job. And then I went and studied sport, psychology, nutrition, and I worked in a gym for nearly a year. And I didn't really like, I liked the training, but I didn't like working in the gym. It was fun, but there was things about it I didn't like. So I went and literally just started from scratch, and I took a job in a call center for a UK company, naming the call center, naming it. And I spent a year there, hated it, but I worked with some good people and I had some good memories in it. With some real fun times in it, and like, there's stories to be told about that as well, because there were some funny stories. Then I finished up there, and I actually got a new job in a car company in their head office doing their admin, because that's kind of what I mainly do now, which is online work, like IT admin, stuff like that. And I joined at the worst possible time when there was like massive changes going on. They're moving the company away. So literally I was taken on a full-time contract, and then was basically told after 3 months there was a mass layoff. So a load of people got laid off, including me. And obviously I wasn't there long enough, so I couldn't claim anything or get like any like redundancy. And then the PA to the managing director, I used to sit next to her, and she got a job and gave me a job in it, and it was doing like data storage, like data management and admin. And fuck me, I hated it. I hated every minute of it. The job wasn't bad, but I worked with the worst group of people you'd ever want to meet. Like, I mean, like, oh, I couldn't even describe how bad the group of people I worked with was. And Full story, right? This is actually true. When I was working there, I started with a girl who was kind of in around my age, and we were the only two who really kind of, got on out of everyone. Because the funny thing is, no one got on with anybody in there. Everyone was so like obnoxious and just stuck up their own arses. No one got on, and me and this girl were the only two people who got on. So we used to go for lunch, just have a laugh, this, that, and the other. And she was seeing a guy, and I was like, I wasn't seeing a girl, but I was like, kind of seeing, like, I was my ex from Belfast. We were kind of just seeing how it went at that stage, right? And basically, everyone in the company didn't like the fact that me and her were friends. So they started like saying a load of shit to her that, oh, G Man's trying to do this, G Man's, this, like all bullshit. I didn't even like the girl like that. And basically, her fella basically, up in arms, oh, how dare you? Don't ever speak to G Man again. Because like he was thinking, oh, two workmates are gonna start, what. Turns out he was doing the exact same thing behind her back. And like, amazing. But I got out of there because everything just went tits up. I hated every minute of it. The people were shit. And the only friend I had, like, stopped speaking to me because her fella told me. So then I ended up where I am now. I work in a book company, in the head office of a book company. I do a lot of their online work. I love it. I've been there for a while now, since before the summer. And the only thing that would make me leave would be going full time on YouTube. That's the only thing that would make, and even then, I don't know if I do it because I like it. So hopefully, I'm not moving jobs anytime soon. I hope. Anyway, unless something comes up that's 10 times better, as in YouTube or maybe journalism or something like that. Who knows? But yeah, those are some of my stories. I don't think I've had that many jobs. I just think I've just been unlucky. You know, I've just been unlucky. You're going to get shit jobs in life. You're going to meet absolute dickheads. It happens. It's just how you cope with it at the end of the day. It's literally just how you cope with it. And no job is worth your health. Making books for Amazon or something. No, I don't make the books. I do a lot of online like work. So like I process a lot of orders, I process refunds, and I look after their online kind of stuff. It's pretty boring. Well, it's not boring. Like when I'm busy, but it'd be boring to kind of describe. But like it's fun because I can listen to podcasts all day. So I literally come in at 8:30 in the morning, put my headphones in. I leave at 5 every day, and then I go train. And I've just been sitting at a desk listening to the podcast, taking screenshots of box wrecks so I can put them in my videos. That's literally what I do most days. But yeah, in terms of jobs, like, most people have had loads of jobs. I mean, very few people I know have had, steady jobs. My best friend has only ever had one job, but that's because it's like his dad's company. So that's all he's ever known. He's not known anything else. And I got other friends who have been, let go from jobs. And the fact that they're landing on their feet is beyond me, because I had a mate who has like a degree in IT. And about 3 years ago, he got a job in some place in Dublin. I forget the name of the company. But God almighty, he was paid monthly, and he was on like 30K a year. You got to figure, we were about 21 at the time. This is about 2015, 2014, 2015. And he was paid monthly. And he said that when he was finally like basically told to get let go, basically, one of the things they did was they brought up like his work history, and they were paid like the first Thursday of every month. And every single Friday after that, he would ring in sick. So imagine you're paid on the Thursday, he's out sick on the Friday. And they were like, for the last 10 months, every Friday after payday, you've been out sick. So they were like, you ain't sick. You ain't sick. I wake up Monday wishing it was Friday. I hate work. I know the feeling. Like, I don't actually hate my job, believe it or not. I'm lucky. I got really lucky because I was like in a shit run of jobs the last like 2 years where I hated every minute of it. Oh my God, like, I mean, I hated every minute of it. And I obviously told, I think, what video was it? Was it the Bellevue one? Yeah, it was the Bellevue video, the part 2 video where I told you about the account manager job I had. Yeah, that was like that data company. When I left there, I went to that cable place and like thinking it'd be better. And I mean, I thought it was hard to get worse than that data company. Fuck no, man, this was worse. This was way worse. So I said, fuck it, I'll take my chances and I'll take a little break. Gives me a bit of time to find something new, because I haven't really had an extended break in the last like 3 years. So that would have been about kind of March, April, kind of start of April. And I took a little break. I think, give or take, it would have been about 3 weeks. And then I ended up where I am now. And I'm happy. And that's the most important thing. Like, doesn't matter how much money you're on, as long as you're happy. You know, that's all I say. Is, doesn't matter about the money. There's so many people I know who are on good money and they're miserable bastards. They really are. And they're absolutely just money hungry, mad, this, that, and the other. Fuck me. No, I couldn't do that. Like, and the actual job I'm in is still like, you know, it's more money than I was ever on before. So it's not that bad. And obviously YouTube is nice. I get a little bit, I make fuck off from YouTube, but still it's nice. It's extra income. So yeah, that's kind of the G-man story of jobs. But in terms of jobs, like, you know, you're gonna meet absolute wankers in any job, you know. Um in that data company, it wasn't the fact that, like, the management were actually quite nice, but just the people I work with were absolute wankers. You know, they were the worst kind of people you'd ever want to meet. Like, and they were so cowardly. Like, there was a 42-year-old guy I work with who lived with his mom. He lived with his mom and dad, right? And he was such a bitch. Like, oh my god, I couldn't even describe how much of a bitch this guy was. I remember he fucked up someone's like what was it? It's kind of like an account kind of thing, like your files, documents. He fucked up someone's account, and she rang looking for him. And of course, I was like a gobshite, picked up the phone, and I was like, "Yeah, I'll put you onto this guy now." And he was like going red in the face. He's like, "G man, don't put that. No, don't. I'm busy and all this, and you need to talk to her, because if we work as a team, you know, we shoulder this, all this bullshit." So, you know, naturally, what I did was I went back to the customer and said, "Yeah, he doesn't want to speak to you. He's afraid." That's that's what I said. And she loved me for it. She was delighted. She was just like, "Oh, you're cool." And I was like, "Yeah, I don't give a shit. I'll just tell it like it is." And the funny thing is, if he just said to me, you know, "Please figure something out. I don't know what to do," I would have made something up. But it was the fact he tried to shit talk me and, you know, give me all this bullshit about teamwork and bullshit like that. I was like, "Nah, mate. Nah, not with me." So I'm letting her know that you're a bitch. Simple as. So that's what I did with that. That's what I did with that. So working at a call center is a scandal. I always thought it was a job for educated people. Then I realized it was full of people. Yeah, working in a call center is, it's the worst job I ever had. But it's still good fun at the end of the day. Like, if you've ever worked in a call center, the actual, like, kind of job we had, in terms of like, you're in a team, and the job we had was, how can we avoid calls, not how can we take them, how can we avoid them and not get caught. And we found plenty of ways, by the way, plenty of ways. It was good fun. It was shit, but it was good fun. You know, while I was there from start 2017 to middle of 2018. So I was there for a while, and yeah, it was shit, but it was good fun. It was real good fun. You know what we got up to, and what we got up to outside of work was fun as well. You know, Jesus, the stories I have from there, like, I'll ask someone in the chat, do you want to hear this story? Because it's pretty funny. Like, quote, it's funny. It's funny in retrospect, but it's just strange at the same time. Like, it's about a guy I worked with, and how in that call center job he met his wife, basically. But it's just the story how he met her is just bizarre, and how it inspires is just bizarre. So let me know if you want to hear that story, because it's pretty bizarre. I'll tell you about it if you want, but yeah, just keep talking. Okay, well then I'll tell you, right. So basically, there was a guy, a hardcore gamer. That's the best way to describe this guy. Big beard, beer belly, receding hairline. I mean, that hairline was hanging on by a thread. Hanging on by a thread. And he's 2 years younger than me. So I was 23 at the time. And this guy was well, he's not 2 years, probably a year and a bit. So he would have been about 23, or I would have been 23. You would have been about 21 going on 22. Right. And he ended up getting into a relationship with the girl who worked in quality. So for those who don't know, quality people who listen to your calls and grade you on them, you know, your bullshit like that, you know, all that kind of stuff. So he ends up getting into a relationship with her. All right. And this kind of all happened like that really quick. I think it was the summer party. And that was how that happened, right? So basically, the relationship lasted, I want to say 6 weeks. Okay, 6 weeks is about how long it lasted. And obviously, when you're working in a call center, especially if you're kind of like, I'm not, even though I make YouTube videos, I talk a lot. I'm not the most outgoing kind of guy, but I get on very well with people. So, I'm always kind of in those circles, but I wouldn't be the most outgoing. I wouldn't be, I'm not the loudest person in the room by no stretch of the imagination. But I hear everything. Everyone tells me things, right? So I'm hearing, name of the guy broke up with name of the girl. Okay. And I was like, oh, Jesus, what happened? Just like what happened, basically, making a laugh because this guy was fun to take the piss out of. And they said, well, apparently they were on a night out. It was a work night out. Now, I didn't go because I would have known about this and I would have been laughing at it all day Monday. Apparently, it was a work night out. He brought the girl, we'll call her Erica. That wasn't the real name, but we'll call her Erica. He brought Erica and, they went back to Erica's house to do what you do. And this guy didn't know what to do, believe it or not. All right. And the ironic thing is, this is a guy who knew everything and everything about broadband. He could explain where decibels go from the exchange to your phone line to the broadband. But the most basic human instinct he couldn't do. All right. Now, that's pretty sad. And then they broke up not long after that shock. And what does this knobhead do? Right. Instead of just cutting his losses, and fair enough, if you're working with your ex, even though this is a big company, big, if you're working with your ex, fair enough, it can be a bit odd. I've never had to do it, but it can be, I can imagine it can be a bit odd. I know friction between people in the job can be a bit bad. So he looked for a new job, right? Now, rather than looking for a new job in the local area, my man moved to the Netherlands. Oh, that's where she's from, by the way, if I didn't already mention that. So my man moved to the Netherlands. Rather than looking for a job in Dublin, because she lived on one end of Dublin, he lived on the other. Well, he didn't even live in Dublin. He lived in Meath, actually, which is further away. And like, the area where I'm from in Dublin is a big area. Like, you are unlikely to bump, not unlikely, but if you're not from the area, you're never going to bump into somebody if they're not from that area. So why you moved to the Netherlands is beyond me. Moved over there. And he was over there for about, I want to say, 3-4 months. Comes back, begs the girl to basically, get back with him. And then they get engaged a couple of weeks later. So give or take, he's been with that girl for how long? I want to say, before they got engaged, you want to say about 3 months? 3 months. And my man's getting married. And this is a big girl. Like, I don't mean big as in like fat. She wasn't slim or anything like that, but she wasn't grossly overweight, but she was tall. I mean, fuck me, she was tall. This girl was about 5'10", 5'11", and she wore heels. And he was about 5'8". So, yeah, pretty weird. There you go. Yeah, he's laughing. Whenever I tell people that story, the people who were there and know, they're like, fair enough. We all knew what happened. But the people who don't know from the outside looking in, they're like, I bet it's not. And I'm like, no. It is. I'm telling you, because you can even just go on the guy's Facebook, you can see his whole life story is on it. And I'm like, yeah, there you go. Fact. If I followed my ex or like done something like that, like put it like this, if I married the first girl I ever slept with, I'd be living in New Zealand right about now. Thank God for that. Thank God I'm not. He could have thicker hair with her. Yeah. Hairline holding on by a thread. Well, it was. I'd never seen a receding hairline as bad on someone so young either. Like, you'd expect that on someone middle age or someone like that, but someone in their early 20s, I've never seen a receding hairline as bad. Seriously, I've never seen anything like it. And the guy would go on like 2-day gaming sessions and all that bullshit. Like, how? No wonder he didn't know what to do. Jesus Christ. Boxing news here. Let's see what this has to say. So, Juan Francisco Estrada versus Cal Yafai has reportedly been pushed back to later in 2020 as Estrada has suffered a hand injury. God almighty. I was looking forward to that fight. It was originally set to take place on June the 30th, now been pushed back. I was looking forward to that fight. I was seriously looking forward to that fight. Cal Yafai, he has been holding that WBA Superfly title hostage. Seriously, like, he has literally, the one person he's fought, your man Gonzalez, who was a decent fighter, he got a gift, an absolute gift decision against that guy. It was beyond the gift. So the one good fighter he's fought, He's got a gift decision over, and he's fought absolutely nobody. He's literally fought a who's he of the super flyweight division. Literally, that's who Kal Yafai's fought. Jesus Christ. So yeah, that's my kind of working story told for the day. And like I said earlier, when it comes to jobs, you can have, jobs here and there. At the end of the day, like, money's not the be on and end all. Like, I'd just rather be happy, you know. Simple little things, like I'd rather just make some videos, go do some training and stuff like that, have enough money to get by, than to be, someone who money bulging out their pockets, but yet no real friends. The girls you're going out with, that even they're with you for the money more so than anything else. Fuck that. Yeah, fuck that. I wouldn't want that. Man, I wouldn't want that. You see that with people though. You always see people go like that though. They just want the money, or some people as well, they just want what you have. I'm not saying anyone will want, like, a YouTube channel with, 1,200 subscribers, but what I mean by that is like, they see that you're a way they want to be, but you can't, and they just take it out on you, if that's the best way to describe it. They try and badmouth you, or they try and knock you, and a lot of the time, people who know are in the known will just see right through that person. I've had that happen to me before, and like, people who know me be like, G man's cool, don't talk. And they'll never say it to my face, though. That's the funny thing. They'll never say it to my face. But yeah, so that's the kind of boxing news there. Let's go on to boxing scene, because I want to talk about boxing. That's why I do these live streams. I've ended up spending like the last 15-20 minutes talking about jobs. No, this is a YouTube boxing channel. We ain't talking about jobs. Virgil Ortiz, seriously good fighter. One to watch. Who else do we have? Let's read this article here. Team Usyk demanding Anthony Joshua get the mandatory shot. So, where does it say? Where do I need to read? Where is it? Oh yeah, here we go. A developing issue. However, WBO can get its contender a shot by the imposed 180-day deadline. A slightly shorter window exists for the IBF. So basically, they're looking at deadlines here, and the deadline between the IBF and the IBF and WBO is such that it's likely that AJ is probably going to get stripped on one of them. I reckon we're going to see Parker versus. See, I reckon what's going to happen is maybe that's what Eddie Hearn wants. Maybe what Eddie Hearn is thinking is, okay, maybe let AJ get stripped of the WBO. All right, now hear me out. Maybe let AJ get stripped of the WBO. Okay, Usyk get a bit more of a name, fight Joseph Parker, maybe in the UK for the vacant title, and then do a reunification almost. So AJ tries to win back the WBO title, because you built Usyk, he's got a belt, he's a recognized champion. Then put him and AJ in together. You've got a world title unification, and there you go. The winners unified, and they can attempt to fight Wilder. Although God knows what's going to happen there. I kicked the arse out of jobs. Yeah, well, I have good references though. So I still have good references, but I just don't. You're committing to a job 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. If it's not something that you want to do or you're happy doing, fuck it. Like, there's no point doing it. There's literally no point doing it. And if you're in a job you hate, it can drag you down. You can feel like shit. So, no, fuck that. Be happy in it. Jesus. Even if it doesn't pay as much as the last job or something like that, just be happy in it. That's all I got to say on that. So that's all I got to say on that. This live stream's not really been much talk about boxing. Not much talk about boxing. I'm still going to keep it. I'm going to upload this. This will go on the channel in like MP3 kind of format. So yeah, I'm gonna close it here. 40 minutes I've been on. I think that's long enough. I didn't want to do a very long live stream tonight. I wanted just to keep it kind of quiet. I try and do live streams every Monday between kind of 8 to 9. So that's probably going to be my next live stream because I'm just going to cut this one short here. And yeah, let me know. Let me know if you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed this live stream. I hope you enjoyed me talking about things other than boxing. That's something that I would like to do. I would like to do maybe like not on this channel. This channel is a boxing channel, but maybe on another channel or another platform. Blue Collar Sport TV. What's the crack, bro? You're lucky you put that comment in because I was gonna end this. But I'll answer your question. What do I make of Charlo versus Harrison 2? Well, the first fight wasn't great. All right, it wasn't. It was a stinker. Now I thought Charlo just nicked the first fight, but it could have gone either way. Like I don't have an issue with Harrison winning the first fight. I just think that I don't know. I just think that we're looking likely for a repeat because Charlo is someone. If you're going to be, who would it be like? If you're going to be like someone like an Arthur Abraham or someone like that, I know they're in different weight divisions, but if you're going to be someone who's going to square up his shoulders, come forward, let Charlo hit you, he's going to look great. He's going to get you out of there. He's going to let them combinations go. But when you see him against guys like Martirosyan, guys like Austin Trout, when he's having a boxing match, an out and out boxing match, it's not compelling viewing most of the time, and he can look a bit off. So that's kind of what I got to think about Charlo Harrison. I I'm someone who I don't like it when fighters staying active. I always think, and people have always said to me, maybe I overthink things, but whenever I see a fighter staying active, I always think that maybe it takes a little bit away from them. All right. So when I see the fact that Charlo's had a fight this year and Harrison hasn't, it makes me feel as though, okay, Charlo's probably going to be a little bit more ready. He might be able to switch it on a bit quicker and maybe be able to, pick up a few early rounds. And maybe Harrison will take him a little bit longer to kind of warm into it because he's been out of the ring a year. Maybe that's me over analyzing things, but, I could be wrong. Harrison could box even better, maybe because he had the break. You see certain fighters like Canelo who had a year out of the ring and they look even better than they did when they were active. So, it all depends. But I think Charlo's going to win the fight personally. But I wouldn't be he's not going to knock Harrison out. That's what I say. He's not knocking Harrison out. I think he's going to win it on points. Okay? I think he's going to win it on points. So, Blue Collar, Del Boy, let me know what you think. But guys, I'm ending this stream here. Del Boy, appreciate the comment. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think. Probably be next Monday before I do another live stream. Peace out. Hope you all enjoyed it and enjoy the MP3 version of it as well.